BasicGamer7 and welcome to another video here on the channel. So this is sort of a little update vlog type thing. You may have noticed that I haven't had videos as of recently. I'm gonna go into depth a little bit about that, why and stuff like that. I will mention that I am sort of multitasking in this video, so for the most part I will be looking towards the camera for the most part and stuff like that, but every once in a while you may notice me glance down or something like that, and I'll get more into that, why I'm doing that a little bit here in a minute. So basically, if you follow me on Twitter, I haven't had much tweets either, but you may have noticed I had two in particular tweets where I was talking about, like, I wasn't feeling well, like, things were not going well for me, and then I had another one where I was like, hey, I'm better, I think, videos should resume to normal, even though they did not. I posted, like, one video, which was my cast recap for 2020, so, and I do have a build one that I am creating, but I was in the process of putting that video together when a lot of this happened. So, if you are anything remotely familiar with me and when I came back last year, I actually had mentioned anxiety before. So I do actually have anxiety. It didn't get too bad until last year, and I thought it was more of a circumstance basis type thing, like there was a lot of things going on and that it actually made my anxiety to the point where it boiled over, but I didn't think it was going to be a thing that I had to worry about for the long run, or at least not for a while. So I took medicine for about 2 months. I got better and I was doing well, and even after I went off the medicine, I was doing well because I went off, I think I was taking my medicine for some of March, all of May, and into June. And by the time it was the end of June, going into July, I was off my medicine, and I was doing fine. I had, like, a little burst here, back in September, but it wasn't that bad, and again, it was, like, a circumstantial thing, and it got to the point where, like, you know, it wasn't bad, and I was able to control it, and it was fine. So I was like, you know what? It's cool, it's okay. So yeah, I was fine, and then, like, December rolled around, and, like, I was okay, but there was, like, a thing, like, there were times where I felt like it was more easily, feeling emotional and, like, on edge, and the same through most of January, even though, actually, my dad went through, like, a major surgery in January, and for the most part, I didn't really have any issues. Yeah, there was times where my anxiety felt, like, really, really close to being, like, just overblown, but at the same time it was just like I just had this feeling of being on edge. I was okay, but at the same time there was just something there, and I was afraid of having a full-blown panic attack or, like, starting to have issues. So I eventually this month actually contacted my doctor and was like, hey, like, you know, I was hoping that in some ways I wouldn't have to go see them and then just redo the prescription, but because it had been so long, I had to go back and see them. Basically, talked about things and stuff like that, and they put me back on the medicine. They gave me more refills for it, and I was like, you know, this is gonna be good. I'll get to the point where, you know, the on edge feeling is gone and I'll be fine and everything's cool. I actually had 2 left over from, like, the last batch for some reason. I don't even know why I had 2 left over. I don't know why I didn't take them all, but I actually didn't take, like, the last 2 of my last batch. So I went ahead and took those 2 just because, you know, I had them. Why not? Don't waste them. It will let these new ones last longer, even on top of that, without having to go for a refill or whatever. Or, you know, a lot of times, of course, currently I don't have insurance, so I'm having to pay for this out of pocket. Luckily, there's a local pharmacy that it's not too bad at, so, you know, that's nice, but, with that in mind, there's still sometimes, like, you know, we have to wait a certain time to refill it, and I didn't know if that would be an issue or not, but with me taking those 2, obviously, I could get the refill, and actually still have pills in the old existing bottle. But, and I was fine. I took those 2, and I was cool, and then, like, I took those on a Sunday and a Monday, and then I took, starting the new bottle, on a Tuesday. And that night, I was laying in bed and I didn't feel fully right. Something felt off. I felt sort of sickish, sort of like I was trying to get dizzy or lightheaded, but not fully there, so it was a little weird, odd, and I went to the bathroom, and as I was sitting there, it just got worse and worse. And I eventually had to lay down. I couldn't, I got out of the bathroom and had to lay down before I even remotely made it to my room. I currently still live with my dad, so he just happened to be awake at 2, 3 in the morning when this was happening. And I just told him what was going on, and it was it sort of feels like a panic attack, but it's different. And then eventually, my heart wasn't racing, and I wasn't having some of that stuff that I had with previous panic attacks that I'd had, so it was a little strange. And eventually I felt fine. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back down to my room and lay down. And as I was laying in my room, my heart finally did start racing and some of the other stuff. And so I had a full-blown panic attack, but it didn't get too bad, and I was able to, stay pretty calm. But after a panic attack, for me, I don't know how it is for everyone, because everyone's anxiety is different, and everyone, the way their body reacts to these things and stuff like that is all different. But I will say, one of the weird things was, during this one, by the end of it, I was getting extremely hungry. I don't know if it's just, in previous cases, I just happened to have enough food on my stomach that, when my body was trying to cope with this and using energy to deal with it, I had enough food in my body that it didn't really bother me too much. I don't remember getting hungry. Maybe I did, or at least maybe I did to some degree, but it wasn't as bad as it was. But I was having full on hunger cramps. But I was trying to sleep, and I really didn't want to get up and eat and then try to lay back down immediately. So I just kept laying down, and the next day I did not feel that great. I felt weak, and I'm used to not feeling 100% after panic attacks, but I really did not feel great the next day. But I eventually, just kept going on, and throughout the day it felt a little bit better, but I didn't ever feel great. So I was like, okay. And then Wednesday night I was fine for the most part, and then Thursday night came around, and the same thing happened that happened Tuesday night. I had another panic attack. I ended up having 4 panic attacks. And they alternated, I had one day, and then I was fine, and then I had another one the next day, I was fine, and then it was really strange, and I was having, all these different side effects, things going on, and I was confused. I was trying to figure out what it was. I was getting nauseous, I was getting, I had my ears ringing, all this stuff, and I was like, I can't, for one, I actually couldn't stay out of bed for very long periods of time. Either I would get way too nauseous or too lightheaded, dizzy, or a mixture of them. I just did not feel good. I felt weak. So I couldn't actually physically sit at my computer chair for long periods of time, much less try to focus on doing stuff. And it's really weird for me to not, play games and stuff, especially during panic attack episodes, because for me, certain games actually calm it down. And I couldn't even, get to that point with a lot of this. So I was just laying in bed. I did play, phone games, because those was the easiest ones to access and, wasn't too much of a hindrance or a bother. And watch TV. But I actually stayed in bed for a long time. And I continued this it almost went for, I think I'm at the point where it's been past the 3-week mark, but I started feeling better the last so many days, and I'm actually off that medicine. They prescribed me a new medicine, but I'm currently still trying to let the old medicine go out because I'm afraid of getting more side effects. It's weird because I was on that medicine before. I don't know if maybe they slightly altered the ingredients, there's more of one particular thing, or what it is, but they've put me on a new one, so I'm hoping. For the most part, I feel good. I'm not usually too weak. I still feel like there's a lingering feeling here every once in a while. Right now it's gone, luckily, while doing this. Part of the reason why I'm multitasking is, one, there's one other thing that I really need to get done build-wise, because it's a challenge, a shell challenge, actually, for Yellow Plum Blob, and it needs to be done in 2-3 days. So I thought I'd go ahead and work on that, but also sometimes talking about my anxiety can reel it back up. So, having something to distract me every once in a while, so that's why I was sort of saying I might be multitasking every once in a while, so it's there so that I can get some of it done, but it's also there so that I can stop talking about it and work on something and, like, get my mind off of it. But, so, but I truly don't fully know why this time that medicine affected me. In some ways, my doctor still acted like it was just my nerves, but they're like, "We'll try changing your medicine anyway." But the thing is we looked up my medicine, and because I was talking about it with family and stuff like that, and some of them were weird to have, but the doctor was used to sometimes some that particular medicine. I don't know if it's all anxiety medicine or if it was just that particular one sometimes has the opposite effect and for a temporary time until your body gets used to it, so it like accelerates your nerves and your anxiousness. But that's why they tell you to take half, and they told me to do that, and taking half did seem to lessen the issues, but they did not go away, and some new ones almost emerged. One of them being I could not sleep. Every time I would lay down and then close my eyes, things would start accelerating and happening again, to the point that I just could not sleep. I was sleeping. I had like 3 nights in a row where I got maybe a total of 10 to 12 hours for all 3 nights. So it was like me getting like anywhere from 2 to 4 hours each night. So I was, and it was just, it was rough. Like the sleeping thing was rough because I was already sort of in a meh from all this going on because I was just tired. I was ready for it to go away. I hated feeling that way. I wanted to be able to do stuff again, and it was just a lot of things going through my head. And then the sleepless nights came on top of that, and it was just, it was a lot. And that was when once the sleepless nights called, came back. I was supposed to call my doctor anyway, but I definitely made sure to call back and was like this is like, yeah, I like some of the symptoms went away, or they're at least not as bad, but now I have this, and some of them still are not gone, and it was just a lot. And the day that I didn't take that medicine at all, I was actually able to sleep. Now, did I get like a lot of sleep? Not necessarily. Like, it was quite a bit, but it wasn't a lot of like deep sleep, I guess, like the good sleep, but it was still so much better than what I was getting. And I was able to sleep again last night, because I'm in the night before. Wait, how many? Yeah, so I've only had 2 nights where I've slept without the medicine. This will be the third night. I've been off of it 3 days, and so far things are better. I still have the ringing in my ear, and like I said, the chest every once in a while, that comes back. The ringing in my ears was probably the weirdest one. It's the one that threw my doctor off and a few other people, but I was actually trying to get to that point earlier. My family and I looked up symptoms or side effects of that medicine. Ringing in the ears was one of them. I don't know if it's super common or not. Maybe it's not, because my doctor didn't seem to immediately recognize that as a side effect. But it was listed as a side effect, and there was like anywhere from 12 to 15 side effects that are possible with medicine. A lot of times there is. I had almost all of them, but like 5 or 6, and one of those is a male specific one, so technically only like 4 or 5 that I could have had. Out of the ones I could have had, I didn't have. And 2 of them, technically, I potentially had. They just wasn't bad enough because the way that my body system functions, I'm not going to go into too big details, but one, I don't pay attention to weight and things like that too much, and then also one of them is just, my body doesn't function normally, I guess, when it comes to that particular thing, so I don't know if I really noticed a difference from it being my usual situation versus the medicine, and it could have been, it easily could have been there. So there's 2 symptoms I could have had, because I did have a family member say that I looked like I did lose weight. I didn't notice if I did, but anyway, so I may have had 2 other symptoms that I could have had, so that would have mean I'd had almost all of them. But yeah, I had a more than 50% of the side effects that was listed for that. So I was definitely not having fun. Not at all. And like I said, the ringing in my ears is still there. I don't know what I'm gonna do if the ringing in my ears stays, because sometimes I don't notice it as much, or it seems to go away. Uh, so yeah. But I don't know what I should do if it stays there, because it's annoying. And I've even, at first, one of my friends actually has a parent who, well, both of their parents technically have worked in the medical field to a certain extent, but one of them still works in a hospital setting. And she was like, you might have something going on with your inner ear, like an inner ear infection, because one, at the time they didn't know what medicine I was on, so she couldn't go off the medicine and figure out the side effects from it. But also just because, like, that's usually not a thing that I think a lot of people that I know equate to with panic attacks. Again, everyone's is different, so, you know, there might be someone out there that gets that. But for them, they wasn't as acquainted with it, and she was, like, suggesting me to put some soy in his ear and, like, do this and try that. And I did try that for a while, and to some degree it seemed like it helped a little, but not completely, so I don't know, but right now that one's still there. It's one of the least annoying ones, but most annoying at the same time. Least annoying because it doesn't actually affect me necessarily on my day-to-day life. I can do things. I could play games, I could sit here and record a video, I can sit here and, like, play Sims, and do building, and create a Sims, and get on, like, Xbox with my boyfriend and friends, and play games, and go and wash dishes, and do all this stuff, and function. Yet, it's annoying to hear it constantly, or, I guess you're hearing it in a way, like, it's a really weird feeling. But yeah, it's annoying that it's there, and it's not necessarily constant, but more so than not, and it gets annoying hearing it, but I can function, versus all the other side effects caused me not to function, because one of the side effects was the whole sleepy thing, like having sleeping issues, yeah, and nausea, and dizziness, and lightheadedness, and I forget all of the things, but I had a good chunk of them, and it was so annoying. So that's why I probably went into long explanation, longer than I needed to, of why I've been gone. But that is why, and it was to the point, like, you know, I was getting so tired and so annoyed and so frustrated with things, I didn't feel like editing. Some of the days, like I mentioned, I just stayed in bed, and I couldn't really get out of bed for long periods of time. I couldn't even, a lot of times when I went to go fix food, I had to sit for a while, because I just was so weak. I had so little energy, or I would get lightheaded. So, trying to actually edit something, I had a few days where I tried to fool with stuff a little bit, just so that some of it was getting some progress on it. But I just could not stay up for long periods of time, and it was a process. But, and it got to the point where I was just so frustrated and so annoyed with things that I didn't even feel like getting on, like, Twitter and social media, and I was like, so yeah, that's where I've been. Again, I am starting a new medication, but I'm hoping that there is no side effects from it. It is a more common medication used for anxiety. Most of the people that I know have been on this one or one other one, and most of them wasn't for surely used to the one that I was technically on. So, like, I guess that is a smaller one that maybe they sometimes, I don't know why I was started on that one first, honestly. There may be a reason, I'm not sure, but hopefully this one, I've known more people to be on this one and it not really be any issue, so I'm hoping, but I'm not gonna make any promises, because if this one does give me side effects, or at least a few side effects when I first started, because like I said, I haven't taken it yet. I was trying to give a few days for the other one to get out of my system, so that if I do have side effects from the other one, I can tell them apart and know that it's that specific pill and not leftover from the old one. So I'm probably going to give it at least one more day, unless I wake up tomorrow and the ringing is actually gone and stuff like that. And it seems like it's actually gone, then I'll go ahead and take one tomorrow. But otherwise, I'm probably going to wait a day or two before I go ahead and take the other ones. Again, just to make sure that, you know, I can tell the difference in between if something's happening from this medication or the old one. But my plan is to get videos resuming back on Wednesday of next week, so that will be the 3rd. So that is going to be a week from me recording this now. It's going to be a little less than a week because I'm hopefully getting this video up tomorrow on Thursday. So it'll be like a week from now. I will be putting I might actually, I don't know if I'll put a build up that day, even though Wednesdays usually are my builds. So for the first, like, so many days back, my schedule may be off a little bit because of trying to get back into the swing of things, basically seeing which videos I have further along in the editing process. Because I don't want to overload myself just yet. That's why I'm partially also giving a week before I post to try to see what this new medication potentially will do. And also just not to overload a lot of stuff on me. Now, I am deciding, I do have this video obviously coming out today, and I have the shell challenge, which is actually due on the 26th. The video, like, it just has to be up on the gallery by the 26th, but as far as video-wise, I don't know if I need to have it up on the 26th. I'm going to read the details, because technically I don't think anyone actually even has to do a video for this challenge. Like, you can just actually do the shell challenge and put it up on the gallery and have a chance to get it toured, so I'm pretty sure when I put the video up it's not going to matter, so I may wait until the next day. Just again, not to, like, overload myself as well. And I also have the creator spotlight video to go up. Now, since February is a little bit shorter, it doesn't give me as many days for one to actually post this video. Two, the character spotlight was put up more than a week late this month, and by that time I was already starting to have my issues with my anxiety. I did, like, talk to them to actually see who it was, because I hadn't seen it, and they was like, we'll give it to you by tomorrow. So I am, like, watching the person's videos and preparing stuff for a video, but the video may end up being in March. That may be the one I put up Wednesday. So even though it's going to pop up March, it will be the one for this month, but just because of the fact that it was late and all the stuff I was going on, I haven't really got around to preparing stuff for that video and actually getting it ready. And I'm not trying to push myself. I don't want to risk doing too much when coming back. So just be aware that I don't plan on, like, having the creator spotlights come out in the next month. I originally did not plan to have them come out late, like I had last month's come out later in the month. I think in some ways I might actually stick with that, though, having them come out later in the month, because they tend to post the creator spotlight towards the beginning, so it would be like a reiteration of who the creator was for that month, so that for those who missed it earlier in the month, they can maybe see it in the beginning, because I do post it again over where that is on the Sim Streamers and YouTubers Facebook page. So more I thought about it, the more it's like, you know what, that actually fits, and it gives me time to, like, truly watch more videos, more content, more streams, depending on if they're a streamer, YouTuber, or both. So it gives me a lot more time to know more about the person and give you more, hopefully, in-depth views on the person as well. So I will actually stick with those towards the end of the month, but they will not be going into the next month unless something like this ever happens again. I'm hoping not, because, man, that was rough. I was pretty much down for most of February. I could not do much of anything. I tend to go visit my boyfriend a lot because, it's the way it works and functions, and the fact that I live with my dad and stuff still. I don't want to be confined just in my room because basically I don't want to disturb or bother my dad anytime my friends and stuff over, except for when I was a little kid, because when I was a little kid I didn't care as much, so me and my friends just went crazy and went running through the house and going into the living rooms and stuff like that. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, I respect people's space and like their time, and like when you're in the house, you're sitting down, relaxing, watching TV. I want to be doing the same, so I tend to just stay in this one little tiny room, and when he comes over, we tend to stay in this one tiny room versus he has a full apartment, so I do tend to go there more often than he comes here. But as of recently, he's been coming down here, one, because of with my dad's surgery, and then not too long after my dad's surgery, this happened with me. So, but yeah. I've been talking for way, way longer than I probably really need to. I have a really bad habit of taking something and like stretching it out to explain it. I think part of it's because I really struggle how to actually accurately explain what I'm trying to say. And then there's another part of me that's like, I feel like I need to go into details about stories and things like that. Uh, so, yeah. But anyway, I did want to update y'all before videos started resuming why I've been gone and what's been going on, and that I am trying to get videos resumed, but I don't want to promise, but I at least wanted this video out there so that, you know, I had a few recent subscribers actually pop up while I've been away and sort of not uploading. So any of you new subscribers that have popped up, if you come across this video, I am still going to be posting. It's just I had sort of some health issues going on, so I put those in the forefront. And for anyone who has been watching for a while and things like that, you know, I'm still here. But that was going on. So I do plan on videos resuming by next Wednesday. They definitely will be resuming in March in general. I won't be having many in February. Obviously, there's only so many days left. This build video that I'm going to be working on, I may put it in one of the days of February, but I may wait and actually publish it in March as well. I'm gonna play it by ear after I start taking this medicine, see what happens. So, it's right now, it's all on a iffy basis, but this is my aim, and this is my goal, and this is what's been going on. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope that, you know, you still are looking forward to videos here on the channel. Sorry I've been away, for anyone who's been particularly wanting to keep up with any of the series, like my Not So Berry Challenge and the Fame Trio and stuff like that. They will be coming back. I do have some of those videos technically edited, because I had finished editing them before this started. But like I said, I couldn't even really get to the computer to actually do thumbnails and things like that, so hopefully it won't be a whole lot for me to do to get videos back up and going, but just know that this is a process until I for surely know what is going on. I can't promise anything, and I'm not going to push myself for the channel and potentially worsen my mental health and health in general, so hoping to get back, but I'm not promising. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye bye!